in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Welcome to my show. I got to tell you, this next topic is a very important one because anyone my age is always thinking about what happens if I get that phone call and mom or dad has fallen and now they need a place to stay. It's parenting your parent. My guest is Loe Hornbuckle. He's with the Sage Oak, a dear friend. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I want you to share with the audience your story because you're an entrepreneur, but you probably didn't imagine yourself having a number of senior care homes.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, I think for me, I went through a period of time where I was basically just a businessman, just kind of, was in sales, marketing, things like that. And then my family kind of had a similar experience to what you described, where my dad eventually went on hospice due to cancer. And, ultimately he passed away on hospice and really didn't have a very good experience. And, there was a time in my life where I was trying to figure out, what's next, what do I want to do? And sometimes when you have a serious loss like that, it can kind of cause you to, take stock and inventory of your life. And for me, what that meant was I wanted to get into a business that I felt not only I could be successful in, but more importantly, I was able to help people. And so Sage Oak was kind of born out of the idea that there's plenty of people that have these needs. Maybe they fall, maybe they have some sort of cognitive impairment, maybe they're in a wheelchair, they use a walker, and so they need assistance, throughout the day with, medication, meals, things like that. And so our company was really focused on delivering that quality experience so that families don't have to go through what our family did.
We're going to show your website because I think one of the things that's really unique is that you don't believe in these huge complexes where sometimes a resident can feel lost.
Sure.
Hundreds and hundreds of people. You have group homes, and we were showing your website right now. Why is that so important?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but probably the simplest way to explain it is most of the time in these big settings, they're selling an amenities experience. So they're selling gyms, they're selling chandeliers, things like that. But at the end of the day, we found the 3 things people care about are great care, great food, and great communication. And those smaller environments deliver all 3 of those in a much better way. So, great care, obviously we have better ratios of staff to resident. So a typical daytime shift for us is a 1-to-4 ratio. So 1 staff every 4 residents. That might compare to 1-to-10, to 1-to-12, to 1-to-15 in these sort of bigger settings. Mm-hmm. Also, too, it's a smaller footprint, right? So it's very hard if you're in a 4,000 square foot house to be more than 50 or 60 feet away from somebody. It's very easy in a large setting to be, a couple hundred yards away from a resident that might be in need. Yes. So, the size of the house really comes into play. Now, in terms of food, I don't know if you ever had a party, cooking for 8 is a whole lot different than cooking for 80. Right. So food quality is much different when you're cooking it right away and it's being served hot and fresh versus, I'm cooking for 200 people. It's being served on steam trays from the building next door. Even if you get the food perfect, the transportation process, right, when you get a to-go order, that's never as good when you eat it there, right? Yes. So we feel like food is improved in those smaller environments. And lastly, I don't even think big buildings talk about communication. And the reason they don't talk about communication is because fundamentally in American healthcare, communication is kind of put on the back burner. But from the industries that I've come from, it's the most important thing. If you know what to expect, if you feel like you're being communicated with, then you can almost deal with any situation and overcome any hurdle. And so we really focus on proactive communication. If mom or dad's having a good day, we can snap a photo, text it to the family, like we had a birthday party, or hey, they ate all their meal today, or they're very happy. And you can also deal like, hey, they're having a tough day, maybe you should come by and visit. So there's all kinds of things from a communication point of view that we can do that really isn't possible in a big building. So the main differences are, a home-like feel versus a sort of a big institutional-like setting. And then, of course, delivering on great care, great food, great communication really being the key as to how we're able to deliver a better product.
Well, I think you never lose sight that it's somebody's mom, somebody's dad, somebody's grandma, and you really do care and love your residents. To put an exclamation point on that, you called me a couple of years ago and said, "Hey Jeff, I have a kind of a cool thing that's happening in one of my homes," and I called a friend of mine at Channel 8, and they did just a very loving story. So let's go ahead and roll that tape right now.
Okay,
Well,
great.
Dallas has a pretty active music scene, as you know, and because of that, it's created a special friendship of
And it was,
sorts.
yeah, that very friendship that led a couple of guys down a path towards something truly remarkable. Sean Giggy has their story in this morning's Giggy Bites.
Whoa. Yips.
If not for music, good friends Ashley Brightwell and JP Maloney might never have met.
We always ran into each other at concerts. That's all. That's the only time we would see each other. Music brings people together.
Since then, they've been in harmony,
Oh, I found a good one, bro.
figuring there were more people just like them. The two started a music blog.
It's contagious.
Eventually, though, they felt they could use music to do more.
You know, help people.
If you want to change the world, you have to start with yourself.
With that in mind, JP and Ashley started a nonprofit called Music is Our Weapon. Their idea was to partner with assisted living facilities and help patients using music to rekindle a piece of their past.
People like Parkinson's patient Harold Jones. At one point, Harold was an incredible jazz guitarist. He was in a band, even played songs for his wife. Today, though, his old guitar just sits by his bedside.
I bet you know this one.
Although he can no longer play, Ashley and JP gave Harold the chance to listen. Parkinson's may have stolen much of his ability to move and talk, but his fingers remembered every note.
Bingo.
Keep in mind, Ashley and JP don't get paid for this.
I like it.
Both have day jobs.
That's how you do it.
They simply believe in the power of music.
It's something as simple as a song that can actually, 100% change somebody.
It just keeps bringing me back because I know that, to me, it's a void that needs to be filled.
And at least for this moment, it's a song of hope. Sean Giggy,
It's a fun song.
Channel 8 News Daybreak.
Yeah, and hopefully that will
I
stand
think
as
it's a
hope for
wonderful
others
story,
because
and to
sadly
me,
Mr. Jones passed away
that's
shortly
another
after.
example of why you guys are so much better than some of these very large communities, where sometimes a resident can get lost. They're just another name in a file. That's never the case in your company.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we only have 8 residents per location. We've got a great team to oversee everything, and I got personally connected to Ashley and JP and thought that here's a gentleman that has this background in music. I knew exactly what their company did and kind of connected them. The best part about that story is I'm not in it, so I didn't have those guys did everything and did an awesome job. So really, it's a story about them, but we were the facility that partnered with them. So Sage Oak partnered with Music as Our Weapon to deliver that experience to that resident. And what was really moving about that story, and honestly I was very terrified, was Mr. Jones actually passed before that segment aired. So they come and shoot the segment, and then there's a period of time, and I think it was right during the state fair or something. So of course they're doing all their state fair stuff, and so then he passes, and then the week after they're like, we're going to air the segment. I'm like, well, hold on, let me make sure the family's going to be okay with this, because the last thing you want to do is try to bring some joy into someone's life, and now all of a sudden their dad that just passed away is on the news. And so I talked to the family, and they were very supportive, and to this day they still reach out and tell me from time to time, like, hey, we really appreciated that segment. It was so great to have that. And the news station was kind enough to send them kind of the other footage that didn't make it, so they have this sort of video image of their father sort of enjoying the last what at the time was the last few days of his life they didn't know. So it was a really cool experience.
That's awesome. And I think the space you're in is one, baby boomers are aging. You're experiencing what I guess has been dubbed the silver tsunami, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's and we're not really there yet. I mean, the average age in assisted living is about 87. So the oldest baby boomer was born in 1946. So, they're 73, 74 years old. So really haven't started to see a lot of baby boomers come into assisted living. You're seeing some come into memory care. You obviously have your section of folks that maybe get early onset dementia, things like that. But the business is very powerful now. There's a lot of clients that need help. We're positioning ourselves for the future because we know this massive need is coming, and you don't really want to wait until the need is there. You need to be ready, and so our company's really been all about positioning ourselves to be in the best position to help all those people that are going to have those needs, 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to put your website up and give people a chance to get in contact with you. The website is thesageoak.com.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's right.
Beautiful website. And Loe Hornbuckle, CEO, founder of the company, and couldn't be more pleased to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you next time.
Thank y'all.
That was awesome.
Thanks.